I mean,
got so far.
I'm glad you're singing it because your singing is way better than mine.
Hi, everyone.
Garwar. I just saw Garwar in chat saying,
Uh-oh.
sorry, I went a bit long. Hey, listen, it's been a week.
Okay.
Also, you've got a tree on your house, so we can give you a little bit of leeway.
Oh, that's that. See, I didn't know about the tree on that. This is what you missed when you also can't. What?
Garwar's fine. Everybody's fine as far as I know, but there was a storm and he had lost power and we were all worried, but everything's fine now, but there's a tree on the house. So that's become Garwar gets all of the patience in the world because they are awesome and have a tree on their house.
Okay, so now I have Wizard of Oz in my head for some reason, but hey. We're good.
But we're not here to chat about Garwar. No. We're here to paint and slay.
We're here to paint and slay. So it's Friday. It's time for another paint and slay. I am Vee, and above me is Lauren. And today we're going to show you how to paint some minis featuring creatures that you can find in the game Idle Champions. But before we get into chatting about what we're going to be painting, let's chat about what we have going on with the game currently. Lauren, what do people have to look forward to for the weekend? Because it's Friday, everyone. I can't believe
it's Friday.
Holy moly.
There is so much. There's so much going on. So Wednesday started season 4. Yay, season 4. Which, yeah, there we go. I love this key art.
Beautiful.
I love this key art. So you can check in on your game and start getting awesome things for season 4. And I'm just double checking that something else has gone live, and it has. Okay, good. So season 4 is up. You should be able to click on the little season 4 icon on the bottom right-hand side and get all the information about the season and start unlocking all kinds of fun rewards. The 5 champions being featured are Wolfgar, Puent, Cadibri.
We need to write this list out. It happens just, and honestly, my brain is so fried because I've been living in November.
Yeah, it's been a hard couple of weeks. So, but there's 5 champions. There you go. Please enjoy. They are awesome, and they got some tweaks, and you can find out all about that on our blog, and we've got some videos up as well on our YouTube, so go check those out. Also, because it is Friday and there's not currently an event going on, it is a free time gate weekend. Now, I know we've got a lot of new people who have come in recently because of season 4 and the promos and things going on. So first off, welcome. Second off, if you're a little confused because this is the first stream that you're seeing that doesn't involve straight on gameplay, that is because usually we're like 70-30 with,
that's a good way to put it.
70% gameplay stuff and 30% related to gameplay. And so the last couple of days we'd mixed around our schedule in order to have a lot more gameplay to help out all the new players, but now you're getting to see a show that is a little less about gameplay. Now that doesn't mean that you can't still ask questions in chat about the game or about painting or any of that. And the reason I say all of that before talking about the weekend buffs and the time gate weekend is because this is probably the first free time gate weekend that people have had. And what's going to happen is when you open up that free time gate weekend, it's going to give you a choice of 3 champions to choose from. And it's very normal, especially on Fridays, for a lot of people to either come into the chat or come into our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions. To ask, hey, I got these 3 that I can pick from. Who should I pick? We are more than happy to give our opinion and tell you what we think. People in chat are more than happy to give opinions. Thank you, Belswin, for the gift sub. Enjoy your emotes. Sockhanders11.
I love that name.
So yes, feel free to ask. With all of that in mind, also feel free to ask about gameplay questions and everything. But because we're a little more focused on painting, we might not answer all of the more in-depth gameplay questions. For those, I highly recommend either the wonderful people in chat or our Discord, which I've already had a drink, so I'm not going to drink again. Discord.gg/idlechampions. Also, what just got announced, which I was checking to make sure that it got announced, the next champion is coming. Yay! So our next event is happening on Wednesday, and Strongheart is coming to the game. That's right.
Hold on. I forgot to grab a picture of Strongheart.
That's okay. It's been a week. It's been a week. But you know what you can do? You can go to our website and check out the blog, which has tons of detailed information. Or if you're interested in kind of a quick overview, there is a video up on our YouTube, which I'll go ahead and put the YouTube in there. in the Idle Champions YouTube, so the ones that's Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, go ahead and subscribe to those YouTube channels because there's a lot of fun stuff that goes up there. And on the Idle Champions YouTube, there will right now be a video that is all about Strongheart and what you can expect to see on Wednesday when Founders Day goes live. So I wonder who is talking on that video. Art Tadson? I don't know. I don't know who does the voiceover for those videos. Oh, hey! Hey, there he is. Strongheart. So I have to say, and we will get to painting in a second, but I have to say the best part about Strongheart and putting that video together for Strongheart is we have Warduke in the game and we have Strongheart. So we have Warduke as a champion in the game, and then we have Warduke and Strongheart as enemies in the game and NPCs in the game. So you can now have Warduke and Strongheart in your formation. Well, on Wednesday, have Warduke and Strongheart fighting Warduke and Strongheart. And it makes me so happy when things like that happen.
Incredible. It's very like, action figure scenario on the couch when you're like, sorry, I just went back to like being 5.
That's okay. Sorry, that's okay. And
then we have the weekend buff. Correct.
And the weekend buffs. Yes. So especially if you are new and you're looking for a little extra power to get some of the stuff done this weekend, if you're looking to get a bunch of the season 4 stuff done, if you need some help with those time gates that are opening up, it is Defend the Mountain King weekend. So these 5 champions are going to get a buff over the course of the whole weekend, lasting until Monday at noon Pacific. And using those champions in anything you do, they'll just be a little bit stronger. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter yet, now is an excellent time because on Fridays, we send out a newsletter that talks about the stuff that's going on for the weekend. And the best part about it is it comes with a free gold chest related to the thing happening that weekend. And this weekend, it's a free defense chest. We promise, for those of you who are new, we are not going to spam your account when you sign up for the newsletter. It is once a week. And that's it. And it's going to come with free stuff. We absolutely promise you're not going to end up with stuff from us every single day. So go subscribe to our newsletter if you need help with that. You can check out the chat or in Discord. And I don't know if there's anything else. Alpha will. Also, there will be cats who will arrive with Vee. We're just used to kitties. It'll be fun. Also, Alpha Wolf 387. I think getting Orkira's time gate is absolutely the best option.
She's biased.
Okay, I'm done.
We did have a really good question that popped up while you were chatting from Phi Clauselex. I'm trying with that one. For the new people, can you maybe introduce yourselves a bit? Which actually, it's a very valid request. So, Lauren, why don't you start and then I'll go.
So, I am Lauren Urban. I'm the content manager here at Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. What I basically do is almost all of the content that you see, I have a hand in. I am in charge of the Twitch channel. I'm in charge of the YouTube channels. I'm in charge of the TikTok. Yeah, we have a TikTok. I'm working on it. I do some of the blog posts. I do a lot of the, I help out with a lot of the blogs. I used to do the newsletters and now I just help out with the newsletters. So a lot of that stuff is stuff that I'm either doing, in charge of, or helping out with. And so, yeah, that's why you'll see me on some streams. Some streams I'm just producing. Like we normally have Idle Insights on Thursdays, which is an interview show with the amazing Trevor Bettis, who is our lead writer. And I produce that show. So there's a lot of that happens. And Vee, what is your job?
I am the partner and talent manager with Codename Entertainment, which means all those fun collaborations you see with the various content creators. I'm the one who's doing the outreach, the organization, the coordinating, and the scheduling, everything like that. I do the behind-the-scenes production for both A Familiar Quest as well as our Idle Champions Presents. I, interact and chat with our various platform people and different partners. Like, I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes collaborating, coordinating, scheduling, facilitating. I'm kind of like a mom.
Yeah, you're very good at all of it. You're very good at organizing all of it. Also, I should mention, so those are our jobs. Also, I am the content creator behind Orkira Ildrex from Heroes of the Plains, and Vee is the content creator behind Voronika from the Black Dice Society, which were characters that we created quite a few years ago before either of us worked for this fabulous company. So it's been fun joining the company that our characters are now in the games for, which is why on a regular basis, I'm going to tell you that seat 1 is the best seat and you should get Voronika and Orkira whenever you can.
Yep. So there we go. All right. So that all being said, that's who we are. A little bit more background behind me. I'm actually a professional mini painter and terrain maker. I have a YouTube channel called The Crafting Muse if you want to check things out on bigger scale creations and other miniatures that I've painted in the past. But today we're going to be focusing on the Nothic miniatures from WizKids D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures line. This is the line that comes assembled ahead of time, that comes primed ahead of time, so that is something you do not need to do. And we have 2 Nothic minis that we will be painting up, because as you can see below, we have Nothics in the game, and oh my god, those eyeballs are just a-popping.
Right.
So we're going to get going with these 2 critters. However, these are like my favorite monsters to get very nervous with and freaked out with when I encounter them in game, because they're nasty.
They've got a couple of powers that for their CR rating can be real nasty.
Surprisingly, like they rot flesh. They will rot flesh. If that attack hits, your flesh is rotting away with some significant damage. And they can also, like, there's a save you have to make. And if you don't make that save, they find out one piece of information about you that they can then use against you. They are not cool.
Yeah, but you know who is cool? Gabe. Gabe is our moderator for today's show. Gabe is going to be hanging around in chat, helping out, answering questions, and also grabbing questions. So if you have a question for either of us about Idle Champions, about Nothics, about Orkira or Voronika, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters so that Gabe can grab it and put it into a backstage chat. So when we're dealing with eyeballs and we miss your question in chat, we do not miss your question at all. So
there we go.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to be working on this, and you're going to see Rory's trying to make herself known. Rory is one of my 3 cats. So with these pretty much come ready to paint out of the box. However, every so often you might see that there's a little bit of a mold line that crops up on these, and they get a little further enhanced sometimes when that primer goes on. If you want to remove that, there's a couple of quick things you can do. You can either take just a classic nail file, emery board type of tool, or you can use one of these mold line removers, which are fantastic. I have one from Citadel. WizKids does have their own mold line remover as part of their D&D prismatic paint sets and support tool sets. So this Nothic had a nice little line right down the middle of the eye, and since the eyes are really such a feature of the Nothic, I wanted to make sure to pop that off. And so with the mold line remover, you just basically run the edge of it over, and you can kind of smooth those little lines out and not have them as prominent as before.
Your eyeball came with lines. Wow.
My eyeball came with a line. You can see here, there's a line that's running right down there. So I'm just going to use the curvature of this. This isn't sharp. It's not sharp enough to really harm your skin. I mean, it'll scratch, but it's not like lethal, like a penknife would be. So I'm just going to go through and quickly, lightly graze that off. And depending on how deep you go to remove those mold lines, you might have to go back in and put in a touch of primer. I just glazed over this, so it removed that raised bit. The rest of the area is still okay to paint over, so I'm happy with that. But as you can see, it takes away that little line that was running down the eyeball. And like I said, because these are such an eyeball prominent creature, wanted to make sure that was taken care of. So Lauren, if you need to just buff yours out, yours may be fine. Honestly, it will depend on minis sometimes. You'll get the same minis in the set. One of the minis might need some mold removing. The other one might be fine. But that's just something to be aware of before you go and paint.
Yeah, one of mine doesn't even have a mold line, and the other one I can see it, but it's super faint. So I'm gonna
that works.
I'm gonna hold off.
And then we're gonna be pulling paints from the D&D prismatic paint sets. We have both intermediate as well as beginner. WizKids sent this over to us, and we very much appreciate it because there's a lot of fun colors, and you'll even notice there's some fun names that are incorporated with these as a result because of the D&D thematic connection. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to want to grab dark flesh tone.
Okay.
And we're going to paint these minis completely with dark flesh tone to get things started with our base color. Except for the base, leave the base alone. We're not all about the base yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
But not yet.
Eventually all about that base.
Yeah.
Ooh, mine's definitely going to need watering down.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're new to mini painting, you want to make sure your paints aren't thick like toothpaste, and my dark flesh tone is like toothpaste. So what you want to do is add a little bit of water to thin that out. As you can see, like it's barely even moving on my paper plate. So I'm going to add a drop of water to this I did like a couple drops of the paint color itself. Gonna do a drop of water. I have a nice little water dropper bottle for that. And get that going in there. And then we'll just take a nice round brush. It can be number 1, can be a number 2 round, or number 3 round even, and start painting both of the Nothics, including the eyeballs.
Just the entire thing except for the base.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Leave
And while we're doing that,
base
I'm going to
alone.
catch up on some questions.
Sweet.
Oh, we've got a nice variety of questions about a bunch of things, probably because the two of us at the beginning spent about 10 minutes doing a very large info dump. Ganda1 wants to know, what champion should I pick as my first new champion? We've got our first Timegate question. Wolfgar, Virgil, or Vlanya? Probably not Wolfgar, since I can get him for 3 pieces. Agreed. So all of the champions who are available, who are the season 4 champions, you'll see are on discount for time gates. They only cost 3 pieces instead of the normal 6 to help out, because, you know, we want to help you out. So I wouldn't use Wolfgar for your free time gate, because you might as well get him on sale. So my suggestion is Virgil. Virgil is a storm sorcerer from the Rivals of Waterdeep, and not only has a lot of really good support powers, he's just a ton of fun to use.
Oh yeah.
He is a ton of fun to use, and I do recommend eventually getting all of the Rivals of Waterdeep. But Virgil offers some really interesting and easy to use support options. So yeah, I would highly recommend Virgil. And I didn't give my disclaimer at the beginning of this, but I will now, which is everyone's mileage may vary as far as which champion people will recommend. There are no wrong answers to which champion you should get. Partially because this is a game and you should have fun, and mostly because the overall goal is to unlock all the champions, and you can do that for free. All you have to do is, it may take a little while of playing and using time gates and stuff like that, but it is very easy to just simply unlock all of the champions for free while you are playing the game. And we highly recommend doing that so that you have the largest roster to choose from when you start getting into some of the harder variants and things. So there is any of those champions are going to be good, but I do agree that since Wolfgar is on sale, you might as well use your time gate pieces for Wolfgar, and I would go for Virgil.
Absolutely.
Also, Brian, aka Urban Bohemian, who you also often see in chat, is wonderful and lovely and is the content creator behind Rivals of Waterdeep, and so that helps a lot.
It does, yeah.
Oh, the fingers are hard to paint around. Why?
Itty bitty fingies.
Tiny, tiny fingers. Let's see. Severin Blaine, asks a question that hurts my heart every time. When can we run Voronika and Orkira at the same time? Sadly, you cannot.
Can't.
So if there are champions in the same seat, which Orkira and Voronika are both in seat 1, they cannot be in the same party. It is one of the few bad things about having a character in the game, is I can't be in the same party as Voronika, or Dahani from the Rivals of Waterdeep, or Deacon. It sucks. And the reasoning behind that is both Orkira and Voronika are members of affiliations that are that not only have multiple members, they have quite a few members actually. That's kind of what takes precedence, is our designers make sure that when a champion is added to the game who is part of an affiliation, for example, Orkira is part of Heroes of the Plains, the main goal is put the new champion in a seat where they're not going to be in another seat with the same affiliation. So you can use the whole affiliation all at the same time. And then there's other things to consider, like what seat has more or less champions available. Orkira is a healing and support. Is there a seat that doesn't have a lot of healing and support? Things like that. And so they were not thinking about the friendship between Vee and I when they put the champions into their seats.
I think that was like one of those like sad puppy dog moments when we got the overview for Voronika. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened with Latia and I when Dahani came out. I was just like, but, huh.
Oh
Okay.
well. The only time you will ever see Voronika and Orkira together is one of the Paint and Slay episodes where we had the audio issue, so I popped in our two champions.
Oh, okay. There is a
Right?
related, so we had that, but there's a
There's
related,
also
you
this
would,
the one shot, right?
yeah, we did a
Yeah.
one shot a little while ago with the amazing Aaron M. Evans as our DM. That also included Nahara, played by
Nora
Nora
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim,
Mm-hmm.
and Masood playing Gosrick, who
Yep.
is in Rivals of Waterdeep. And the four of us were in a little one shot called.
Oh, what was it called? It was in
What was it
Candlekeep,
called?
wasn't it? Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Vecna Lives. It's called
There we
Vecna
go. It was
Lives,
Magna Lives. Dear God.
which I remember now because the joke is spoilers, but it's not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So yes, if you look on the Idle Champions YouTube page, you can look up that one shot that we played, and both of us got to play our characters together, and it was ridiculously fun
Oh, it really
for a
was.
bunch of different
Yeah.
reasons. And I hope we all get to play again as those characters because that was fun.
It really was a great combination.
All right, I think I got Nothic number 1 done.
Yeah, I just finished up 1 and I got to start 2.
Yeah, I'm at least gonna
And
put.
my weather is weird today. I had to thin my paint out again because my paint's already starting to get thick.
Oh, okay.
It's
Mine's still
like
doing okay.
I don't know. I think the heat from my computer between that and it's like been a muggy day, the paint is kind of thickening up, but not in a pleasant manner.
Eek, eek.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so the question for you, V, about Voronika, and you may need to ask a follow-up. Gauntlet Blade wants to know, for Voronika, what did you do after that recent one-shot? Don't want to spoil, but I'm very curious. I'm assuming they mean that one-shot with B-Dave, and where it was all the Dreadlords?
Oh, yes,
That's my assumption.
Yeah, that is one that's a TBD because we did chat afterwards, and we're hoping to come back and sort of revisit what happens next.
Ooh.
I'm not going to share what happened with Voronika because Voronika pulled a Voronika. It made sense to her as to why she did what she did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, Voronika is actually going to be coming to the forefront for me very soon because I'm going to DM at D&D in a Castle in July. And my table gets to go to Koshmar, and I'm going to take them through my Dread Domain.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun. And they're going to get to meet Voronika and a few other characters and such. So that should be neat.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. But in terms of what happened after what Nika did, well, we shall see. We shall see.
And that was a charity one-shot that you did for the group formerly known as Wava?
Wava, and it's now I can't remember its new acronym. It's got a lot of, it's an SASL, I want to say.
They're a wonderful organization in Canada that
really
helps. They have a rape crisis hotline and people who are the victim of sexual assault, and they help lots and lots of people with a variety of things, from just grief counseling and help with moving, help with going to dates that they need to get to. It's a fabulous organization, but they recently changed their name for the better, and now I am failing miserably to remember what the name changes, and I feel bad.
Yeah, we've been very much programmed with the former name.
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that one shot is available on their
It
Twitch,
is available on either their Twitch or their YouTube.
Yeah, and maybe both.
But it lives there. So that is there. And that was a whole bunch of us playing different Dark Lords from Dark Lords that were basically featured in Black Dice Society throughout our campaign. So it was funny. Like we had Johnny Stanton bring in his interpretation of Strahd, which that in and of itself is worth the watch.
Oh yeah.
So that was fun.
And of course, Mark Meir as Aslan Rex.
As Aslan. Aslan was fun.
Yeah.
And then we had Nora coming in as the Raven Queen for reasons. And we had Omega Jones as Harkon.
Oh yeah. Harkon Lucas. Yeah.
Sir. Sorry. Cat is right in my way.
Well, your cats are excited to introduce themselves to all the new players in Idle Champions.
Exactly.
You haven't had a chance to meet your kitties.
They make themselves known. Well, this one trying to subtly get onto my lap, but because he's a big old Maine Coon, that's an improbability. This is
Yeah.
Hemingway. This is my sweet little polydactyl boy.
Hi, kitty.
So they'll make themselves known. They sometimes like stick their noses out from underneath here, or they try and sleep on my desk, and I'll do like quick little camera shifts over so you can see them sleeping there. Rory was sleeping standing up while we were doing her intro, and then she woke up and jumped away. But that's a different story.
That's impressive. Wow.
She's doing it right now on the other. She's sleeping on my bookcase. Never mind, sitting up. It's hysterical.
That's amazing. I can barely sleep laying down. I wish I had the fortitude to sleep standing up.
It's like, I wouldn't mind that talent. I would happily sleep standing up if I could.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
It really
make airplane rides so much easier.
Oh God!
How did I miss an entire knee?
That flight, I'm probably gonna either see. I don't know, because I'm getting picked up at like 4:00 in the morning when I leave. Oof. Yeah, it's a 7 a.m. flight, and I'm not getting into the castle until like 11:30 at night.
Ooh,
which that's not even
because the time change and everything.
Yeah, because the time change. So I'm looking at like okay, so that means it's gonna technically be about 5 my time when I actually get in. My body's just gonna be all sorts of confused that week. There's just no way around it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a smooth and easy flight and your body is okay with the time change.
Yeah. But I'll definitely be like taking notes and stuff to prepare for the campaign and all that jazz. Like, tonight I have to get the consent checklist out to my players. Whoops, I knew there was something I was doing tonight.
I'm doing a lot of checking for spots I've missed at this point. Yeah. And apparently under the chin is a hard place for me to
you gotta coo. This is why thinning the paints out is so helpful, because the thinner the paint is, the more it's going to run into those areas that your brush may not be able to reach fully, but it'll kind of slide its way in there. So yeah, that's why I definitely thin out the paints. And also thinning out the paints is important because the paints themselves are acrylic paints, acrylic meaning plastic. So when these paints dry, the paints become hard. So when you go in with a thicker acrylic paint, it can actually create a buildup layer, and it'll start removing the detail in your miniature because you have it on too thick. So thinner layers are always best, especially when you're doing base color layers and everything like that, because you don't want to sort of obliterate the details that you have going because you laid it on too thick. It's the equivalent of like if you see someone who has put on say pancake makeup from a distance, sure, they look okay. Like when you go to the theater and you see someone who's got pancake makeup on, when you get up close to them, it's a little jarring. It's like something like their face doesn't like look quite right because all the details have been flattened and smushed down. So yeah, just keep it nice and thin when you're doing those layers.
And we've got Matinee, who has their time gate options are Miria, Nerys, or Barrowin. Ooh, those are all 3 good champions. Let's do what we're doing with Black Pudding, and then I'll come back to that.
Black Pudding we're gonna put onto the base. Now we're all about the base.
All right, where do I put my Black Pudding? There you are.
You know what?
Oh, Miria, Nerys, or Barrowin. Barrowin was just part of a season. So Barrowin has had some really interesting buffs happen. Nerys and Miria, they're both seat 12, if I remember. So they're both in the same seat. Nerys is a really good support with their spiritual weapon. Miria is also a really good support with lots of zombies.
Yes.
So I guess if you're looking for a tank, go Barrowin. If you're looking for a support, go Miria or Nerys. And both of them are good, but I'm going to say Miria because she's a more recent addition. And so it's fun to play with. Yeah. I mean, not that Nerys isn't fun to play with, but might as well go for someone newer.
And that's a champion that Mark Hulme's created with us specifically for Idle Champions. It's a really cool champion, some awesome concepts sort of pulled into the backstory and the abilities. So I'm a little biased. I like that one. That was a fun collaboration to work on with him.
Absolutely.
They really got into it, so it was great to see.
Also, if you get the chance to unlock BBEG, then you can have you can basically have an entire field full of zombies, and it's fun.
Oh, it's a riot.
So yeah, if you need a tank, go Barrowin. If you need a but otherwise I'd say go Miria and then eventually go BBEG so that you can have zombie central.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm trying to get around
Zombies.
toesies here.
I'm doing the same game. Didn't anticipate the Nothic pedicure today, but here we are.
I actually got a pedicure and a manicure last week.
Ooh,
It was
fancy.
the first time in a little while. My partner and I have been doing a lot of walking, jogging outside for exercise, and my
Mm-hmm.
feet needed a hardcore cleanup.
Oh,
And usually, so I did a little treat and I got the manicure as well. And usually, the manicure is gone within like a day because of the
mm-hmm.
stuff that I do. I end up chipping the nail polish, and I'm the kind of person who, as soon as there's like a chip or a crack, it all has to go.
Yeah.
But either I've been really good at not chipping and cracking my stuff, or this nail polish is just like a rock because I've been fine. And
Nice.
so this is the first time I think in ever that I've been on paint and slay with painted nails. And so I keep looking down and I'm
Ooh.
like, how did I get gold on the, oh,
Never mind.
just very
Never mind.
distracting
That me.
myself.
That me. My nails will not hold nail polish. We've discussed this before. Like they're just
Yeah.
no. It's almost like they're too strong. Like it just sloughs right off. I'm like, okay, bye.
Uh,
Mm.
Kinravip makes a really good point for the person earlier who was asking about what about time gates, and we had suggested Virgil. They come in and say choose Virgil because he's awesome, and then plus he has a fabulous new skin available because happy
This is
Pride.
true.
Yep.
Gosh, those skins are awesome. All right,
Yeah,
so
those
that's the
Pride
base
skins are so
on
much fun.
one.
Yep, I just finished one myself and I'm heading to the other. I love the color of this black pudding.
I
It's
do
so
too. That's why I wanted to
it's so
snag it.
cool.
It's like that super
Yeah.
midnight black blue combination, which I am a huge fan of.
Yeah. Definitely it's one of those and where in the bottle it's just like, oh, this is just another black. And then as
Yeah.
soon as you start using it's like, oh,
Like, oh, this is not just a black. So yeah,
it's got all sorts of cool stuff going
I
on.
like it a lot.
And just trying to make sure I don't get on the toes. Don't get on the toes.
Oh
Okay.
no, it's not the toes.
Um, let's see. Gorilla 86. Does gold find boost increase in a time gate? Yeah, so if you're looking, I'm just trying to make sure I understand your question. If you're asking if any of the gold find buffs or boosts work when you're in a time gate, yes, they do. The only difference with the time gates versus other things that you might be doing is you start with no favor because it's a completely different favor. And so if you've been playing for a little while, it may be jarring the first game that you play, the first adventure that you play, because it suddenly may seem like it's way harder to progress again. And that's just because a new time gate does not have any favor to it. But you should gain it pretty quickly. And yes, if you use potions, if you use gold find champions, any of that should work. Oh, no, don't be on the nail. There you go.
No,
There you
no,
go.
no, 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 no,
I'm just gonna
no.
talk to my mini.
I mean, I do it all the time, even after they're done. You just
Uh
gotta start worrying when they answer back.
yeah. Araber 2001, given that Voronika's in-game mechanic revolves around picking a random person to target, how does that end up relating to how you've played the character in game? Ooh.
Ooh, that is an interesting question. The thing about Nika is that she's chaotic evil. So she just makes decisions that honestly serve her best. So if she sees the opportunity of someone that she could work with that could help her gain what she needs, yeah, she'll do it. She'll be on it. She'll be like, "Yep, let's go." So it does coincide with how she thinks and how she works. She's always looking for that next person to see what they can do for her type of situation to help her with her gains. So yeah, similar thing, and that's just it. Like when you're doing these design calls, they take into account how you play the character in the games or what their sort of impetuses when doing things. So that was definitely reflected in a lot of what Veronica does in the game. It's nods to what's going on with her in general.
It also, I love that that is the way that you have Voronika work just as a character in a D&D game, because that's a question that comes up a lot. How can you play an evil character in a D&D game? First off, talk to your DM, talk to your players, make sure everybody's on board. But the whole idea of I'm doing this, my character wants to do this because it's going to help them. Well, a lot of the time it's going to help the whole party. Like the one shot that I ran, Voronika was in with a bunch of good characters on the lawful to chaotic spectrum, but they were all interested in doing the thing that was presented to them, and so no problems.
Yeah, I found it funny that they were all like, yeah, she can have the particular object. I'm like, y'all just gave her something.
That was a moment. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, I could play this beautifully if I behaved.
I tried real hard. The staff was very interested in chatting with you. All right. Anyway, I've got the bases painted.
We are
keep those questions coming on in while we move on to the next thing.
So now we're going to move into picking up leather brown, which, like its name, it looks like a leather brown. And we're going to take this. You're going to want your dry brush, and that is going to be we're going to do the torso, the head, the upper arms, and the upper legs of the bodies. This is on both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, torso. So basically elbows up, knees up, torso and head.
Young lady. Spikes on the back as well?
Spikes on the back as well. The whole kit caboodle.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we're basically leaving the forearms and the shins and the feet and the hands alone.
And since we've got a lot of new people, and this is the first time they may be hearing about dry brushing. What's dry brushing, and how do you do it?
Dry brushing is something where you take a brush. It can either be a round brush or a flat brush. You tend to go more for a flat brush just because of how it'll cover the surface. However, in smaller areas, a small round brush will help as well. But basically what you do, provided I can work around Rory right now because she's right on my lap, you're going to take a paper towel and you're going to dip your brush so that just the tip of it has been put into the paint. And you're going to remove some of this paint until you see it start to streak like this. So it looks like it's starting to get dry with the paint. And then you'll move that over once you get to that state, and you will take the dried brush and brush it over the miniature to help bring out these details a little bit more. And you pull it across the sculpture of the mini. You don't want to pull it, like I wouldn't take my brush and I wouldn't pull it with the grooves of the musculature. I want it to go across, perpendicular to, not parallel to. And that helps enhance those details just a little bit more to have things pop out. So you can see the difference here. So here's where I just did the torso with dry brush, and here's the torso without dry brush. With
and frankly,
and without.
These Nothics have worked real hard on their six-pack abs, and completely deserve to have those abs be highlighted. So
yeah,
gotta go in for the dry
rotting
brushing.
flesh is how you get abs.
And now you know. That's how you actually get abs, is chasing after people who are
doing it wrong the whole time.
If only I'd been a necromancer instead of going for walks outside.
Right?
Combunker 2099 love paint figures. High five from Brazil. Hi.
Sweet.
Welcome. Happy Friday. Let's see. Let's catch up on questions. Geronthus asks a Timegate. Kron's Black Viper or Eliwick? Ooh, I'm gonna go Eliwick. Fun support and gold find, and especially if you're kind of a newer player, Kron and Black Viper are not going to be as helpful, while Eliwick I think is going to be real helpful and is also just a ton of fun.
I think that's safe. Yeah.
Sorry, and then I immediately got distracted going, where was I on this mini?
Totally
no.
fair.
I think actually I'm good to go to the other mini. Rough Rider 1995 asks, have you considered getting a manicure? Whoops. every couple of weeks to match the mini color scheme you're painting. That would require a lot more forethought than I'm apparently capable of. That here's the thing. I think that would be a lot of fun. Frankly, what I should do is I should just, after we paint minis, then just use the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do, if I wanted to do, it would probably be the afterwards.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to mute myself. Truck was going by.
Oh, I honestly just wouldn't do it myself because, like I said, manicures don't stay on my nails long enough to make it even worth the payment. No, thank you.
So yeah, if you hear trucks outside, I apologize, but I wanted to have the window open because it's gorgeous outside. Every once in a while, just means you're going to hear a truck.
That's okay.
It just means trucks are going to happen. Arvetis wants to know, when playing an evil character, do you ever think about the generally depressing fate awaiting their souls in most D&D cosmologies?
Okay,
deep question.
But for Veronica, it really isn't, because when I started creating her, I knew from the word go, when B. Dave and I were collaborating on her, she was going to be evil and she was going to be a Dark Lord. I already knew that her fate was doomed. So for me, it's kind of like, oh no, she's where she should be, everything like that. So it really was, it isn't that hard for me to spin that evil character that way, because it's like, I knew it was coming. I saw it was coming. I knew it was going to be a thing for her. But
other characters.
You know.
So I can say, no, for a variety of reasons. One, I haven't played that many evil characters, and to be honest, it's mostly either DMing, which involves just playing everybody, or I DM'd a evil campaign many years ago. There's a couple different ways to think about it. One, sometimes it's like the satisfying thing. I'm playing this evil character, and so, you know, they're going to get their just desserts, and that's sometimes satisfying, even if you're playing them. Sometimes you're playing an evil character with the idea of getting redeemed, of like, oh, the hero's journey is going from evil to not being evil. Also, you have to remember, evil characters, unless you're talking about like the cliche mustache twirling villain who's just being evil to be evil, or a monster who has no, you know, it is just a beast, is not a sentient creature. With those exceptions, most evil characters, they don't see themselves as evil. They're the heroes in their story. They're doing the things that they're doing because it makes sense. So when you think about it that way, they don't think the consequences are going to be bad, because what they're doing just makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, God, right now, Nika, she's like, okay, well, I'm a Dark Lord for now. That's her mentality. She's like, okay, this is another means to the end. Let me see what else I can do.
Yeah. Let's see what I can get out of this.
That's why Aslan's a dangerous friend for her to have, because Aslan's toyed around with getting out of the dread domains, etc., etc. And she's like, I could learn something from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to go on to the next step, so I'll hold off on more questions.
Sure. We're going to want pale flesh, and the pale flesh is going to go on the forearms, the hands, the shins, and the feet.
Dry brushing?
Dry brushing.
Awesome.
With the pale flesh, which is like a pinky tone. Pinky peach tone.
There you are. So all the places that we didn't put the leather brown.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Ugh.
Pretty much, yes, that.
My pale...
You'll notice I don't thin my dry brush paints, because when you thin them, it actually makes it harder to get the paintbrush drier, so it's actually better to leave them as their consistency as they come out of the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. My bottle was a little disgusting.
No.
I had to do some cleanup, but now it's better.
Oh no.
Yeah. That one I just did. So let me move back to this one. I'm trying to remember which one I just painted on to give the best opportunity for stuff to dry.
Fair.
Even if I'm not painting in the same spot. Let's see. Belswin for a time gate wants to know Eliwick, Farida, or Krond. I mean, I'm gonna go Farida because I find her to be one of my favorite DPS.
Awesome.
I know
Yeah.
she's not technically the best or one of the best, but here's the thing: if you're like me, and I know I am, you'll play more casually. As far as like, I'm not as an active player. I put the game on, I do a whole bunch of things for a few minutes, and then I let it run for a few hours, and I come back and I do a little adjustment.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for just a solid, simple, easy to use, powerful DPS, Farida is super good. Farida is just plug in and play, is real good. So I go Farida. Otherwise, Krond is also real good, but Krond just takes a little bit more attention and work to get going. So yeah, if you need a DPS, I say go for Farida. If you need a support, like I talked about Eliwick before, Eliwick is awesome, and you should definitely give her a try. Why is this? No, toes, no. Ow.
Oh no, it's the toes.
Oh no, my toes. Let's see. I love how our conversation has shifted over to just evil characters. Evil. Lightning Hawk wants to know, question, when I do an evil character, they do not think they are evil. There you go. They think they're doing the right thing from their perspective. Do you make your characters like that as well? You must have been typing that as I was saying that.
As we were chatting about it, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that is the best way to think about evil characters. Also, if you're thinking about playing an evil PC in a game with other people that are not going to be playing evil characters, once again, first off, talk to the people you're playing with, talk to your DM, get their consent ahead of time, just so everybody knows. And then that is one of the ways that you can make it so that they are not just mustache twirling evil. Is they're trying to do the right thing. They have an agenda that they think is going to be helpful, at least to them. And so you don't have to play the, I'm just going to kill these random NPCs because I am evil. Nah, like these are people that you probably need help from. And doing something bad to them may draw attention in a way that you don't want attention drawn to you. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can work with a party of goodish champions and all work towards the same objective. And also not be like cliche evil.
It comes together.
I think it was B Dave who described it as you're not evil, you're selfish.
Right.
And so good to neutral to evil is the selfless to selfish barometer. So think about it as selfish instead of evil, which can help with the I don't want to be a bad person, or a totally bad person, I should say. I'm just, self-centered.
Yeah. I'm also taking this pale flesh and I'm putting it inside the mouth.
Okay. I'm going to skip ahead to this question just because I think it's an excellent one, especially after the last couple of days. Matinee wants to know, do you guys typically put up a stream schedule somewhere of what segments will be on and who will be on? Yes. So the best way to keep up with our streaming schedule, there's a couple different ways. Let me put it this way. We normally have a very set schedule. So once you kind of get used to the weekly schedule, that will help. Follow us on social media, and I'll put that in chat. Specifically, Twitter is an excellent place because we will post the weekly schedule at the beginning of the week. And then if and when things change or need updating, we will update from there. Discord is also an excellent way to keep up with the schedule. The schedule gets posted in there and updated there. And pretty much any of the other socials that you're on. But I say Twitter and Discord for just knowing what's happening on the schedule is probably your best bet. And then if you subscribe to the Idle Champions YouTube, the 2 YouTube channels, one of them is some of the regular streams that happen during the week, and some of them are more bespoke content or some of the D&D games that we play. If you subscribe to those 2 channels, you'll get a lot of the alerts about when the videos go live there. And that's one of the things I take care of. And I do try to keep those updated so that they don't fall behind. So for example, this episode of Paint and Slay will probably get put up on the YouTube Monday or Tuesday. And stuff like developer insights. There we go. I had to think of the term. Developer insights, where 2 developers literally just answer questions about the game. That usually happens on Thursday afternoons. I do try to get those up like Friday. So because Q&As like that, the answers are not as evergreen as like a show like this. So I do try to keep up with that. So I would highly recommend follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And paint your Nothics.
Paint your Nothics.
Paint your Nothics.
Oh, I gotta be inside enough this one.
Just looking at a few things. Okay. Chawu wants to know, is Farida a good character? My only choice is I already have Wolfgar and Prudence. Well, so obviously you were probably asking this before I went to my tiny little Farida joyful rant. Yes, I think Farida is awesome. So yes, if you heard that chat, then I think Farida is awesome and definitely worth it. If you didn't, I think Farida is awesome and technical and definitely worth it. And also, when you are in this position in general, where the free time gate weekends, it's always going to try to give you at least one champion you don't have. When in doubt, go for the new champion, no matter who it is, no matter what you need. If you've got a champion in there you don't currently have, get them. That's going to help you the most in the long run. Also, Bone White.
Yeah, we're going to go take Bone White, and we're going to go back to the spikes on the back, and Dry Brush on the upper third portion of those spikes, Bone White. And then try and get a little bit, if you can. This one looks like he's got his tongue sticking out. That's why I did the dry brushing here. So that one's kind of like that mode.
Okay.
This one does have teeth involved at the top, so if you want to try and get those teeth, you can. Get those little twofers.
There are teeth involved. Okay, so spikes and teeth.
Spikes and teeth if you can reach them.
Okay.
I also realized I forgot to mention to grab the dry rust color that we have. We're going to need that.
Oh, okay.
We can grab that in a little while.
Yeah,
we don't need it right away, but I just realized looking at my list, I'm like, there was a color that was supposed to be there, and it's not.
I mean, fortunately, I got all my paint right here on the floor.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it should be pretty easy for me to grab a rust.
That's right.
Okay, here we go.
That's right there.
Spikes. Time to highlight the spikes. Oh yeah, that's looking good.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerem Del Sol asks, Regis Goldfind reworked will only be boosted by Mithril Hull stats? Is there no boost for leveling him further, right? I think so. That's an excellent question to ask in the Discord, because at the moment I don't have access to all of the specific details. And I've been playing Idle Champions since it came out almost 6 years ago. And so I remember a lot of different versions of a lot of these characters. So instead of me making a quick guess about the updated version of Regis, I highly recommend asking our Discord so that you can get a more detailed answer, because off the top of my head, I am unsure. Yeah, back in my day, there weren't even familiars that you could play with. And yeah, don't get me started to the back of my day. Oof. Let's see. Rough Rider 1995, the Dev Insights VOD that included chapter marks for each question. Was that a one-off thing or will it be a regular thing? So I think that was a very kind watcher of Developer Insights doing that on the YouTube, because, or it was an automatic thing that YouTube did, because I cannot take credit for that. And it is awesome when that happens. So, either thank you, YouTube, for doing that, or thank you, wonderful anonymous chapter maker person. You are appreciated. It's unfortunately probably not something that I can do on a regular basis simply because of time. Because like I said, developer insights, as awesome as it is, often those questions are they're not as evergreen. And so those are streams where getting them up quickly is more important than making them work long term.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I think I got the spikes.
Okay.
Double
Cool.
checking.
That's what you want.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so now we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna take dead white, and we're going to fill in the eyes with
Ooh.
dead white, and we're gonna start doing the eye work. Is actually gonna take us a little bit more time than painting the Nothic themselves.
Well, I mean, they're big eyes.
They are, and they're cool eyes, and they're known for their eyes. So I'm trying to create these lovely bright green, jarring eyes for everyone to enjoy. So you are gonna want a detail brush for this because those eyes do get a little bit more narrow. So for better control, there you are. And I'm going to go in with dead white. And just start. And the whole reason for going ahead and painting it brown to begin with was because this means when I go in for the white, there'll be this nice meeting of the white and the brown, so you don't have to worry about like trying to get those perfect areas and going back and forth type of thing. The brown sets you up to have like a almost like an eyeliner effect, or a shadow, I should say.
This may also be the first time we're taking care of painting eyes, and the eyes have been big enough that I haven't immediately gone, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Might switch to a different detail brush. This one is splaying.
Oh, no.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, tiny eye. Just as I say that, I'm like, oh, no, wait, hold on. Now we're getting to the hard part.
But grandmother, what big eyes you have.
I mean, fortunately, it's got a very distinct eye ridge. So there's a very clear place where eye ends. Which is a weird thing to say, but true.
You and I.
And of course, we're on the eyes, so we're going to get quiet for a second.
Yep.
It's just going to happen. But yes, keep those questions coming. I will get to them in a moment. And I know Gabe has been on top of grabbing them.
Because Gabe's a rock star.
Yep. But for the moment, we're gonna be a little quiet, and we're gonna paint happy little eyes.
Creepy little eyes. I don't know if I call a Nothic eye happy. Unless it's getting what it wants, then it's gonna be a very happy Nothic eye, yeah.
Yeah. I think these Nothics are getting what they want. They look happy.
Ooh. Sorry, I had to move it out from under the camera. I'm like, I need to actually see the eye, speaking of an eye.
Yeah. This is probably a good time for me to remind you, if you are painting along with us, take time to stretch. Do your best to give yourself an ergonomic position to be in so that you're not straining anything. We're doing the same thing. We're doing our best, but we're also on stream. And so we've had to make some small concessions. And so every once in a while, when you see like Vee pull out from the bottom of the camera, or if I'm doing a lot of this, that is simply because we are trying to stream and also be as healthy as possible. It's also why you'll often see me stretching, because
there's also some points where like there is no way a brush and a mini will fit under the camera at the angle I need to get, so I have to shift it.
Yeah. I think I did the first eye better than the second. I didn't. Huh?
It's okay.
Huh. That's just a surprise. I would have thought I would have been better the second time around, but apparently no.
All right. Well, then while you're waiting, if you're done with your eyes and waiting, because we do want these to dry a little bit before we go to the next step.
Yeah.
You can always pull out the dry rust. Aurora, do not.
Oh yeah.
Young lady.
Oh, Kitty's been warned.
Hey, no.
Kitty's been hardcore warned.
That's not a toy. Do not chew on the brushes. She's like, "Ang, ang, ang, ang."
But brush. But yummy brush.
You know, the vet asks if I brush their teeth. They do not let me brush their teeth with like the typical cat toothbrushes. However, they chew on my paintbrushes. Does that count?
I mean, I guess if the paintbrushes are clean, yeah.
I mean, they are brushing their teeth.
Dry rust. In here. Oh no, it's dry rust. It's in the other one because it's under D for dry.
Oh,
not R for rust.
Rush. Although that's another good champion.
That's dry blood. That's dry rust. There we go.
Yay!
And that's why I keep all the paint stuff nearby. Okay.
It does help, yeah. That's why I like my little cart over here. It wasn't quite
handy. Absolutely. Bell's Wind did want to know. One of the new variants wants you to use only kobolds and goblins, but there are not enough kobolds and goblins. Why? Well, I mean, there's a lot of kobolds and goblins, and there's more kobolds and goblins every day. So yeah, you may not be able to fill the entire formation with kobolds and goblins, but you should be able to fill most of it and get it done. I have faith in you. I believe in you and your kobold goblin army.
You can do it. What did I do with my dry rust? I literally just had that. Uh-oh. I just closed my shirt in the case.
Ouch.
Can't put that away when I'm stuck.
While you're doing that, we've got the influx from all the people from the game at 1 o'clock. Welcome. This may be your first stream that you are seeing that is not directly playing Idle Champions. That is because we are painting minis from creatures that you can find and fight in Idle Champions. You are still more than welcome to ask Idle Champions questions, or if you have painting questions or mini questions, you can go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters at the front of your question so that Gabe can grab it, because every once in a while we're going to be focused on painting an eye, and I don't want to miss your question.
And I don't want to miss a thing.
Also, I look over at Orca Leader, idly painting minis. Yes.
That checks out.
Idly.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Next, we are going to, I just want to give those eyes a little bit more time to dry. So I'm going to go to the dry rust now.
All right.
And I'm going to put that on the inside of the mouth.
Okay.
And my dry rust is extremely runny because you can use it as sort of a rust effect. So it's almost like a glaze / wash as opposed to a full up paint. Which you can see it has like that rusty red color. So we're going to put it on the inside of the mouth. So you kind of want to just put a little bit. I put it on a detail brush. Just gonna go in and paint that on.
Yeah.
Because surprisingly, it's one of those things where a little dab will do ya.
Yeah, and it's definitely the first paint that is technically a paint that we've come across that I haven't had to water down.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Just to kind of get the mouth, the interior of the mouth sort of low lighted.
Dilettante for the win says at some point Vee's wrist needs to be a painted miniature. I mean, I believe she's painting it right now.
I have painted a hand miniature too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's not in my possession. It's a Big B's hand.
I was gonna ask, was it like Vecna or Big B?
It was a Big B hand.
That's awesome.
I don't possess it anymore, but I have painted a hand.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Not in my repertoire, or it's not in my collection. Not repertoire. It is part of my repertoire. I did it.
The hand of V.
The hand of V. I don't know. I don't know about that one. All right, so we'll go to Goblin Green now, which is a misleading. It's misleading when you look at it in its bottle because it always looks like this teal green. However, it actually mixes to be more of like an olive tone green once you get it out of the bottle. So if you're looking for it, you might want to look for a color that's like this, but that's not the color it's going to be. Actually, it kind of matches my shirt. The outside color, I should say.
Mine's a little more, my shirt's a little more green.
See?
Like bright. All three of us are just varying shades. Yeah, this is also one of the bottles that consistently needs a good
shake
every
shake. Single time. Yeah. So here, I'll show those of you who are new. That's the color that came out of this.
Mm-hmm. Weird, eh?
Yeah. It's a gotcha color.
Yeah. All right, what are we doing with this?
We are going to apply this goblin green into where we just did the white of the eye. The reason why we painted the eye white is you can see how vivid those green eyes are. Right there and right there. Like these suckers pop. So by going in and giving it a white color underneath as the base color, it'll allow these greens to pop out more. If we went and we just did the brown that was already on there, it was going to dull it and the eyes not be as vibrant. So we're going to go in with that goblin green. And you want to paint over where you had the white.
Okay. More time painting eyes.
Like I said, the eyes are actually get far more attention because of these creatures being what they are.
Oh, for sure. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And once again, fortunately, these are big eyes. So while it is still a challenge, it's not quite the oh, here comes an eye that
But you
often
can
happens.
see how that green just pops out a lot better now by having that white layer underneath. Like if I go and I put this green on where I've put some of that dried rust, you can see it's more muted down in comparison. So that's why it's important to keep your underlayers in mind when painting.
And you're trying to put green...
whole...
Oh. Okay, cool.
All of it. Yeah.
Cool. Just making sure we're not leaving
we're not
white ring.
If we leave a little white ring, we're gonna run into the cuteness factor, and I'm not trying to make these guys cute. That is not my intention today, folks.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of cuteness, there's your cuteness. There she is, right there.
Hi, kitty. Everybody in chat say hi to the cat.
There's
Friday.
Rora.
Good luck, cat.
I mean, hey, she certainly thinks she is.
Well, all cats believe that they are amazing and perfect and lovely and should be worth worshipping. Oh, there we go.
I have the joy of Cotton is going to need a new medication supplement for himself.
Oh, geez.
And the thing is, I have him on a special diet now, but the other two get the special diet by default because trying to feed these three separately, it's not something that's going to happen. They're communal feeders. They eat with each other. They truly are a clouder. So I've been back and forth with this supplement rep, and she goes, oh, well, you can just take Cotton's food and sprinkle this on top of his food and he can eat it. I'm like, okay, there's a problem though. One, they're all going to be eating it. And two, I have to put him on a scheduled automatic feeder thing. Otherwise, he gorges himself and will make himself sick. And the whole like special food is really null and void. So I have to get back in touch with my vet and be like, yeah, so I need like a supplement that I can give him as a treat because he is a treat-driven cat. This cat will eat his own treats. By howdy. But yeah, I'm like a powder on top of the food. No, I'm not giving all three of the cats the same very special, not cheap supplement because it's a powder form. So I'm hoping there's an option because yeah, I was just laughing like, oh, you just feed them separately. I'm like, no, you don't.
I mean, you don't. That's an idea, and I'm sure it works for some people.
Right. It's like you do not see how these three sleep with each other.
Right. Also, I will once again call out how awesome the chat is for helping out as we've got new people coming in asking questions like, hey, how do we redeem the chest code? Where do we go? That kind of stuff. So thank you everybody for helping those new players out. And yes, as Mikeos says, when you check the Discord, you'll find that there are a lot of chests available each week. Yeah, we have an entire channel on our Discord that is dedicated to here are codes that have been released this week from a variety of places. And that's all run by the community. That's all community run. So a lot of them are the shows. What?
I was making the face, sorry.
I looked over for a second and you're just like, what did I do?
I was mirroring the Nothic.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Nothing like looking up and going, wait, what? Wait, ah. Yeah, it's a Friday. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was talking about Discord and combination.
Yeah.
So that is all run by the community because they're awesome. Most of the Electrum chests that you're going to see come from shows on this channel because all the new shows, every time there's a new show, we have a code. Now, others will happen because we do have some lovely third parties that do D&D games or one-shots or charity events that we offer codes to. Those will also end up in there. There's also a few podcasts you can find. And so I highly recommend checking out that channel on a semi-regular basis. And then also take a look at where those codes are coming from, because our community is also pretty good at being like, here's the code, here's when it expires, here's where it's from. Go check out those places that they're from, because, you know, those are awesome people. And maybe you'll find a new show or a stream or a podcast that you enjoy.
Excellent. All right. Now, continuing with the eye work, we're going to grab livery green, which is this beautiful, vibrant, toxic green color. It's so much fun. And we're very bright. Yeah, we're going to start putting this into the eye, but we're going to do like a fun little starburst pattern. Just to kind of get sort of the, hold on, let me show you. I actually have a picture of the Nothic from the official stuff, just to make it easier to, so see how this is kind of like starbursting out? We're going to try and recreate that shape in the eyeballs. So it'll be sort of like pulling, I'll show you. It's like you're trying to make an asterisk in the eyeball. I'll show
that
you
makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm basically going to start not at the complete edge, but pull from one side to the other.
Meanwhile, also real quick, Grayman Walking, images are not allowed in the Twitch chat, but images are allowed in the Discord in some of the channels. So if you would like to share pictures of your rabbits, absolutely. For that, we have a off-topic channel to go to. All right, meanwhile, I gotta catch up with the livery green. I've got to drop the livery green. Oh, just the cap. It's such a cool color.
Yeah, the point is you don't want it to be like a perfect circle. That's not what we're doing. You want this to be sort of an amoebus blob.
I'm very good at amoebus blobs.
So that's why doing like this back and forth kind of messy asterisks will help with that.
Okay. Oh, I will say, because people are asking about other codes. So we talked about, so obviously there's the regular code, which you can see down there. There's all the codes you can get in the Discord. And then, I'll put that in chat. We're celebrating season 4 coming out. And so we have that special code, which is season 4, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. That is an actual code that'll get you 3 season 4 gold chests. I don't know why that's always so difficult for me to say.
Numbering. All the numbering.
Okay, time for amorphous blobs. And once again, we're probably going to get a little quiet as amorphous blobs are happening.
Yeah. Do-do-do-do, do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
It's definitely a green that shows off in the light real well.
Which is fun.
Okay.
Sorry, your hand is in the way.
Unibeth, the reason people are talking about animals here is a variety of things. One, Vee has several incredibly cute cats that just show up. That just show up. Second, because we're a painting show, often we are just talking about random things, and pets are always a good thing. This is usually a slightly more chill show than some of the others that we've got. So welcome and join us. But also, if you do have a question about the game or about painting, you can always put that in chat with a question in big capital letters so that we can answer that.
Oh, these eyeballs are fun.
Oh, but yeah, we, and then also it's good to talk about pets when you're looking at eyeballs.
Exactly. All right, so if your eyeballs are starting to look something like that, cool. We're gonna want to go back to dead white now, and we're gonna put a dot in the middle of each of the eyes, and that's gonna become, because if you look, they have like this eclipse style iris happening.
Oh,
so you can see there's actually white underneath the black. So we're going to put a larger white dot, knowing that we're going to then put a black dot in the center of that to create this eclipse eyeball. So I'm going to go back to dead white.
Yeah, I will join you in the dead white in just a second. I'm actually making the starburst just a bit bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Dilettante for the win was just asking, oh, is there canon about green eyeballs? Literally as you were holding up the picture.
Yeah.
Now I see the pic.
Yeah.
So the two of you were on the same wavelength.
They're vivid, creepy, eerie, stare into your soul green type of critters. They are not something I want to run into at all.
But they're definitely fun.
Yeah, the first time I saw someone use a Nothic on a stream, it was when Dan, Dylan, and I were both DMing on the Cobalt Press channel for our different campaigns. So we'd watch each other's campaigns just so we could kind of nod to each other's campaign in the others, because his was taking place in Zobek and mine was in the Marguerite Forest, which were close to each other. So he had his group encounter a Nothic, and the voice he pulled out, like, I had the biggest goosebumps. I'm just like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like, nope. He took too much fun in like creeping everyone out successfully, mind you. It was bad. Oh god. Nope.
For those who are old school campaign 1 Critical Role fans, they'll remember Vax encountering a Nothic or two.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's the black. I'm looking for black. So next, obviously, step is going to be straight up black. Not black pudding. Straight up black.
Just black.
And we're going to do a smaller dot of black. And this is if you want to grab your toothpick.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
A little dot of black and the little dot of white that we just put in here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab a toothpick. So for those that are new and are wondering like why you're grabbing a toothpick, this is a trick that Vee taught me that I've grokked onto quite well, which is you just need to do like a tiny little dot, say the irises in an eyeball. You can use a toothpick instead of using a brush so that you can have just like a very solid connection point.
Yeah.
At least that's what I find. And I find that it helps a lot with not ending up with a smudge.
Yeah.
It's still nerve-wracking, but it's a little less nerve-wracking. Plunk. Okay.
Bloop.
And you. Aminam says, I used to use a micro point felt tip pen for this kind of work. Tiny, tiny pen.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
hey, look at that!
Look at that! Bloop.
So I don't have the nice close-up camera that Vee has, but I probably could have made the white a little bit bigger, but I'm very happy with how these black dots turned out, so I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, I went for super small, like pupil constricted. Very happy with that.
Mine are slightly bigger, but I'm very happy with the centering and the roundness of them.
Right?
So I'll take it.
There you go. Now breathe.
Breathing happens. Yes.
Breathing is a thing.
Yes.
We do that. We do the breathing. Okay, so while those eyes dry, we're then going to go back to the dry rust and put that over the claws of both the hands and the feet.
Okay.
And again, this is runny, so this is kind of going to glaze over that, which is what we want to have happen because we did do some dry brushing to bring out the details a little bit more. So this will just create a nice little tint on those
You
claws.
said claws and feet, right?
The claws on the feet and the hands. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I guess claws and talons? Talons and... Not talons and claws. That's a business.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Knees and toes.
Mm-hmm.
Funky Duck 42069. Sorry, now I'm just thinking of a duck dancing and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Time gate question for Rita, Binwin or Solok in my time gates?
Ooh. Dang it.
I'm gonna say either for Rita or Solok.
Mm-hmm.
And which one you get depends on, do you want a DPS or do you want a support? So if you are leaning more towards that you could use a new DPS, get Farida. If you're leaning towards you'd like some more support help, get Solok. Also, Solok is just super cool with the whole riding the dragon thing. I mean, Farida's super cool too, but like visually, I can't lie. Solok with the riding, because Solok is a Drake Warden ranger. So he is literally riding a dragon behind the formation, and it's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I might have just not oversold. I might have just sold Solok to y'all.
Solok is awesome.
Solok is super
worth
cool.
the sell.
For
sure.
But yeah, I think if you do not have either of them, if you need a DPS, go for Frida. If you need a support, go for Solok. That's my suggestion. Chat may have other ideas. I haven't given the disclaimer in a little while since the new round came on in. So my disclaimer for time gates, for free time gate weekends. First off, there's no wrong answers. So whatever people suggest in chat, whatever I suggest, whatever V suggests, there's no wrong answers. There is only what works for you at the time. Sometimes the answers will include things like, oh, if you are looking for this or that, qualifiers. In general, my suggestion is always go for a champion that you don't have. So if you get 2 champions you currently have and one that you don't, always go for the one you don't. Yeah. And in the end, you're just trying to get all of the champions in the game. So that's why there's no wrong answers, because eventually you're gonna get them all.
This is true.
All right. Also, I finished that one and I just started talking, so I gotta do the other one.
Lauren, do you have the Citadel wash? It's the Carroburg Crimson.
I can have it momentarily. I do know it's in the it's in the thing behind me.
Okay, if you have it, I just had a moment of inspiration and adjustment that I want to do with this.
Yeah. Let me finish
the art that we have.
Let me finish this mani-pedi and then I will go get the wash.
Sweet. Cool.
Okay. Carroburg Crimson, you said?
Yes, Carroburg Crimson.
Oh, Spicy Funky, welcome. We are talking about Idle Champions. Just started the game yesterday, you said, so welcome. We are painting minis from monsters that are in Idle Champions, but you are more than welcome to ask Idle Champions questions in chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. And chances are someone in chat will answer it too. Come here.
Come thither, Crimson.
Where? Oh, I know you're in here somewhere. These are in my plastic bag.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
Because I've already had, I had one null oil decide to explode on me.
Named.
Yeah, and so now everything is in plastic baggies just in case.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it was my fault. It wasn't the paint's fault.
No, but it happens. Stuff like that happens sometimes.
It does.
It will be a thing.
Let's see. Nina Acer wants to know, in that case, Farida or Lucius, as far as time gates. Ooh. All right, here's how I'm going to answer that. If you have several of the Heroes of Erois, because that's who Lucius, that's the affiliation that Lucius is a part of. So if you have Sentry, Quillic, others whose names I'm for the moment not remembering, and that's my fault.
Nova, Sentry, Killick, Lucius.
Nova, that was
yeah.
Lucius. Yeah.
And Ayla.
If you have several of them, go for Lucius. Collect the set. If you don't have any, and you're looking for an easier DPS to use, go for Frida. Both are excellent, but that's how I'm going to qualify that. All right, what's next?
Okay, so we're going to take this Carrowbird Crimson. And you see how there's like that little touch of red dancing along the feet?
Yeah.
We're going to put the Carrowbird Crimson on the feet.
Okay.
And then a little bit on the front spikes, I'm thinking. Let me see how the feet look first before.
Okay.
I'm experimenting right now. Because what this will do is it's going to recess into and give it more of that red thing. Because you see how the red's sort of going into the recesses of the artwork?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to use the crimson wash in this section on the feet.
Also real quick, so Alpha Wolf 387, thank you for listing all the heroes of Erois. Appreciate it. Caliph Marin says this is my new idea of what a chaos gremlin looks like, and probably what my chronic pain gremlin looks like too. That's awesome. And Orca Leader says Idle Champions is like Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Yeah. Not gonna lie. It's fun. Okay. Come here, Crimson. Let's have some fun. Nope, I need to actually get some on my brush here.
That does help, I hear.
I dipped it into the pot and then just didn't dip it far enough, and so
Oh.
nothing came up.
Oh yeah, that can definitely be a thing that happens. But that gives us that lovely streaking of red. Do. I like that, and then I'm gonna put, because there's a little bit it looks like on the front portion, so I'm going to put this red on the front spikes.
Okay.
That are on the head. See if that plays up a little bit.
The full spike or just like on the top of it?
Yeah, the full spike.
Okay.
Just the ones on the head.
Which is interesting that one of these Nothics has more spikes than the other, I think.
I know. Well, I think they're aberrations, correct?
You know, I think you're right.
So yeah, they tend to have oddities like that. They're not consistent and symmetrical.
Yeah. That's half the fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Arvidas confirms. Yes, they are aberrations.
Yeah.
Spiky. Bloody spiky. Yeah, I've definitely got one of mine has more spikes than the other, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, get these legs.
Yep. The feet on this one.
I love how this one's doing a superhero pose.
They both are though.
Kinda, but the one that's got the fist down and that I just landed from doing something awesome. It's like, yes, you have. Yes, you are, my little Nothic. You are a superhero in your mind.
And back to the evil creatures thinking they're the good guys.
I mean, they're just trying to get lunch, right?
Right?
Havoc6669 wants to know, is there a place where we can submit suggestions for the game? Like, for instance, having icons show besides abilities, showing the icons or the buffs or debuffs involved, similar to how the equipment items are shown. Yes, absolutely. Come to our Discord. Discord.gg/idlechampions. I got drink. The reason I say that is because we literally have an entire channel for suggestions.
We do.
which is kind of the perfect place to put it because you're always welcome to put it here in chat and in other places, but putting it in the Discord saves it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And while you might not see people responding there, trust me when I say multiple of us who work at Idle Champions are keeping an eye on all of those suggestions and passing those along. So absolutely, if you have requests or suggestions for especially quality of life things like that, definitely let us know in the Discord.
Yep. Okay, so I'm taking the dead white and the black, and I'm mixing it together just to make a light gray.
Okay.
And we're going to use that as the dry brush texture across the base. Reason I am not using black pudding, because if you mix that with the white, it's going to look like a very weird blue color, which I don't really want to bring into the mix. So I'm just going to take the round brush that I have and just sort of draw this across to give me a little bit more control as I get closer to those feet. That you can see, that brings out the texture of the base a little more while we wait for the one wash to dry.
Yeah.
What I don't want to do is have the wash start up and then we go when we do another wash and the two start muddying together when they blend.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages with these little minis of doing two of them at the same time is it gives one of them a chance to dry while we work on the other one because, yeah you do not want to work on a mini or part of the mini that is wet while you are trying to do something. It just won't end well. I might have some experience with that. That's okay. It was a learning experience, just like everything here.
But yeah, this just kind of enhances what's going on with the base for its texture.
Also, it's fun how you specifically said the black and not the black pudding, which obviously is the right choice because in a weird way, it's enhancing the blue color of the base.
Yeah.
And I think having more blue in the
it would have started
this
looking
right now
like a weird piece of chewing gum.
Yeah.
Which, that's not what we're going for.
No. Weird, yes. Chewing gum, no.
Yeah.
Let's get under this leg. I can do it. There we go. All right. Yes, definitely. Caliph Marin is like, that reminds me, I should eat something. Yes, hey, everybody. If you haven't yet,
drink, be merry.
Yeah. Have a water, have a hydrate, have a snack, have a stretch. Painting minis for an hour and a half. Take a stretch.
Absolutely.
Ooh, here's a painting question for V from Manic Clown. When you're making a wash, what ratio of water or flow improver do you use? I'm still getting the hang of thinning Vallejo paints for making washes.
Okay. The thing is I can't give you an exact ratio because each paint contains a different amount of pigments and saturation. So each time you go to make a wash, my recommendation for you is you can always just use straight up water. That's fine. If you have hard water at home, use something like distilled water though. Because you don't want all the minerals floating around in your hard water making its way into your paints because as they dry, they can actually cause discolorations, oxidation, etc., etc. So what you can do is when you go and you're mixing that, if you want to add a flow agent, you can. Is it necessary? Not necessarily. Something as simple as just a little smidge of Dawn dish soap in your water will do the trick as a flow agent. And then what you want to do is gradually start adding drops of water to your paint and then testing. I always test on my wrist. Test on your wrist. When it's something where you see the color recessing into the grooves of your wrist, but it's still tinting your skin, that's when you know you have a good wash. It's one of those things where if I say you do this exact ratio to this exact ratio, it's going to be a very different thing depending on the paint you're using. So I always suggest you start off with a small amount and test as you go along. And when it just starts changing the color of your skin, but you see it going into the recesses, that's where you have a good wash going. So yeah, that's my recommendation. And in terms of flow agents and stuff, I'm going to say this thing's, yes, it could make it easier dilettante. But a lot of this stuff are things that people get intimidated by when first thrown at them, which is why I say no, that's not necessarily needed when you go and you do an initial wash and learn how to work with it. You can do it, absolutely, sure, if you want to. It's just not something that is utterly necessary to do. And quite frankly, like I said, dish soap, that will do the trick for you if you're not ready to jump into the investment of it.
And I can't speak from experience when I say that don't worry about getting paint on your hands and or wrists or anything. It's remarkably easy to wash off with a little bit of soap and water. Even with, I'll get paint on me in the first 5 minutes of this show. And then it'll be, 2 hours before I can get everything cleaned up and get to the point where I'm washing my hands. And yeah, just comes right off. Very, very easy.
Yep. Also, my volume is lower because it keeps picking up whenever I put down my bottles and people are complaining of the T-Rex sounds. So my volume is a little lower. So it's also one of those things where I'm also tired. It has been a long week. I'm not as loud as I normally am.
Yeah, Manic Clown says, don't worry about it. You will get paint on you. Oh, yes.
Absolutely. You absolutely will get paint on you.
Now, being cautious to not get paint on your clothes is definitely, important. Although you can also, if you take the time when you get any of the paint on your clothes to take care of it right away, it's also pretty easy to get out. But I can totally understand the cautious around outfits. But yeah, your skin, meh, it washes away. It's great.
Oh, there it is. So now we're going to go to Umber Wash, and this is what we're going to put on the rest of the Nothic.
Hey.
Well, the base is dry, except we're going to avoid the eye. We don't want to put that on the eye of the Nothic.
Okay. Yeah, I want to keep that bright.
Yeah, it's better that way. If you do get paint into your clothes, rubbing alcohol, at least 70%, 90% if you got it. If you act quickly enough, you can use that to take that out of your clothing. You may want to do a test spot, though, just to be sure it's not draining the ink from your clothes, so to speak.
Yeah. There we go. And while it does cost a little bit more, I do have one of those Tide pens. Those stain remover, like, oh, you got a spot on you, go ahead and remove it immediately. I found, that works real well.
Yeah.
For that kind of immediate, oh, whoopsie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everywhere except the eye.
Yep, not the eye. And actually, you can avoid the mouth too, because we did the dry rust in the mouth already.
Oh, yeah, okay. And I will say we're in our last 10 minutes or so. So if anybody has any last questions that they want to ask, either about painting or about Idle Champions, we are coming to our final few minutes. After us is Sean comes back with more Idle Champions.
Ooh.
I'm gonna double check something real quick.
I know we're on a little bit different schedule right now.
Yeah, the schedule has been today's been a normal schedule except for Mars going a bit longer than normal, but everything else has been normal. So yes, Sean comes on after us for the last show of today with Formation Save. So if you have any more specific questions about Idle Champions, that's probably an excellent place to ask.
Yeah.
And then Garwar will be back tomorrow with another Garwar's guide, and that's happening in the morning Pacific. And then the next time we will be back on air will be Tuesday. We don't tend to have shows on Monday unless they are special things like some of our D&D streams that we do. Otherwise, Monday is a day that we normally don't have a stream. But you'll probably see some alerts for one or two of our lovely third parties and a couple of our YouTube videos, which, if you get an alert for a YouTube video or one of our third parties, go check it out. Not only will you get an Electrum chest, but you'll see awesome streams. Sunday is, I'll go ahead and plug this. Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific is a show called D4, which has been on for multiple years that I have been a guest star before and will be returning this Sunday as a guest star, playing Orkira Eldrex from Beyond Heroes and Heroes of the Plains, but also in Idle Champions. So if you'd like to see Orkira in action, we're going after Manchun. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Totally fine.
You know, the last time we did this, 2 people died, and it was fine. They were fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's see. Manic Clown says, they have another question. Have you noticed that the lighter Vallejo colors, notably white, grays, and blues, are super thick, or is this just the bottles I got?
No, that's typical.
Yeah.
That's quite normal. That and yellows will be streaky. Oranges tend to dry faster. There's quirks about certain colors, and it's a lot of it to do with ratios and pigments, etc., etc.
But it's good to know.
One white that I've gotten that was super watery, and I was actually convinced it was a wash, but it wasn't. All right, then I'm gonna go to black wash and do the base.
You are not acting like the normal paint I'm used to. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm almost there. I just got to be a little careful around the head. I do really like how these legs turned out with the red on them.
Yeah.
I think that worked out real well. I like your inspiration.
Me too.
All right, you said black wash for the base.
Black wash on the base. Yep.
We got a couple more questions come on in. Brit 1980, Lauren, are you and Mars going to do that show again? Oh, the mini guides? That was a special show that we did for these days of streaming, but it seemed to go over real well. So I will definitely keep that in mind for the future. So I can't say anytime soon, but definitely, where'd my black wash go? There we go. We had a ton of fun, and it seemed like the audience had a ton of fun. So I will definitely be looking to keep that in mind for the future. And it's interesting that you pull up the Mod Podge because Mikeos wants to know, do you coat miniatures that will receive on-table action? If yes, what do you use? So your timing is excellent.
You're looking at it. I really like, hi little girl. I really like Mod Podge Ultra. It is not your typical Mod Podge paste. For those of you who are new, this is a thing that I'll say all the time. This is actually a liquid form of Mod Podge. You can either use the pump action spray to spray this out onto things, or what I like to do is take the top off, dip my brush in, and go and paint onto the minis. And yes, if you have miniatures you know you're going to be using on the table, I would definitely recommend seal coating them. Who you decide to use is completely up to you. For me, the Mod Podge has just been tried and true, and I've had these bottles for ages. I was also tipping the bottle while it was partially open. Don't do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gloss and I'm going to apply it to the eyeballs. Just so you can kind of see how this is going to make them pop out that much more. Because right now you can see it's kind of dull because of the paint itself. But when you go in and you apply the gloss, it's going to make these nice and shiny like an eyeball. And I'll probably actually do a couple of layers of this one just to really enhance the glossiness of it. But I'm going to treat the eyes first because the eyes haven't gotten any wash on them. Don't do this while your minis are wet with washes. That's not a good idea. But you can see the difference of that which has been glossed and that which has not now.
Gloss. There we go. Manatee wants to know, and I think this probably applies to both of us, although they didn't say specifically, can you roll one of those massive dice on the shelf behind you?
I think that's you.
It might be me. It might be me. So some of these are mostly not like dice, obviously. So the white ones that are over there, I don't know how well you can see them. Those are actually lamps that light up and change color, which I love, except that I can't use them on stream because the camera and the lights get into the cycling gets off on them, and so it looks like the lights are flickering in a very distracting way.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They would strobe, and there would be like certain colors that it wouldn't strobe at.
Yeah.
But it was a PETA. It was horrible.
Like green
horrible.
was okay, right? Wasn't it? Like
there was a green and there was a blue that was okay.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was no bueno.
Right.
That right there is a container. So it actually, there's no top to that, so I can't roll it.
You can't roll it.
Just off screen, that is a pillow, which I could roll. but is
Oh,
a
yeah.
little far away. And then
Mine
that
is just a circle now, that one.
yeah, and then that is a it's essentially paper craft, I guess is the way to put it. It's paper, which I could roll, but it would probably break apart.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, cool. So we're starting to see that the wash is matting down, but the eyeball's staying shiny.
Yeah, and
which makes them lovely and unnerving for our Nothic boys and girls and critters. But yeah, the name of the game now is to let this dry, and how I'm going to go in and coat these once I remove that curtain. The base and the body of the Nothic will absolutely get the matte version of the Mod Podge Ultra, which is a yellow label. And I'll put that onto the bodies here and get everything protected up. And then I'll do one more coat on the eyeballs with that gloss that I just did to really make them shiny and really make these pop out and just be super duper, here's looking at you, kid, unnerving.
Yeah.
For the Nothics, because I mean, Nothics are good for that. But that is pretty much all that's left, is just letting these dry. 24 hours really with the washes before you do a seal coat. Letting them dry up, and then going in and doing your seal coats, letting those dry, and then they'll be table ready essentially. Depending on what you're using for your seal coat, there are times for how long you need to make sure something has to dry and to process and everything like that. Most of them tend to be anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, depending on what you're using. And it's just a safe rule of thumb. But yeah, this is where we stand with our lovely Nothics.
Yeah.
Which honestly were a lot of fun to get painted up. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. And after we get cleaned up and everything, keep an eye at least on our socials, Vee and I's socials, because we try to take pictures and show off the finished product. And I definitely try to do it because, as you can tell, my camera is not made for close-ups. So if I want to show off my mini, I gotta use the good camera.
Yeah. And then don't forget, season 4 is on its way. It has started. If you haven't checked it out yet, get in there, get it checked out, get all those goody things and all that wonderful stuff going. So that is a thing happening right now. And then we've been talking about the time gate going on right now. Don't forget, get in for your time gate weekend. Get those champions you're still trying to catch to add them to your all.
and speaking of champions.
Yep. Oh, and speaking of champions, we have Bloop
Strongheart. Just got announced literally 2 hours ago, coming to the game on Wednesday during Founders Day, which is the next event that is going to be going on. So check out the website for information on Strongheart, and check out our YouTube, the Idle Champions YouTube, to see the short little video if you would like to learn more about Strongheart and see. I'm not going to spoil it, but his ultimate is amazing. His ultimate is super fun.
It is.
That's all I'm going to say.
And then after you go and you watch those videos, you're going to go and you're going to play the game this weekend, because this weekend is Defend the Mountain King weekend. And that, if you are signed up for our newsletter, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do consider it, because every week we will send you a newsletter. We promise just once a week where we give you something free. So this week's newsletter has the free Defense Gold chest, where you can claim that and get some extra goodies for your time gate weekend and put them to use to your various champions. It's a good thing. Trust me, it's a very good thing. Is there anything else that we have floating around? Or I think we're doing...
I think that's enough. I think that's everything. We're done for today, but we'll be back next week, and stick around for our final show of the day with Sean. And then, yeah, thanks for everybody for coming by. Thanks, Vee. Thanks, Gabe, for being our moderator for today. Thank you to all the new people from who are just playing Idle Champions for the first time or returning to the game, and hope you were able to enjoy a little bit of calm painting while you got questions answered.
Fantastic. All right, everyone. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye. Bye.